it.
Let's do it.
King. What the fuck's 2025 been like so far? We got new champions across the board. Pro Wrestling Noah, new world, new junior heavyweight, new heavyweight tag team champions. Marigold, new Superfly, new world, new freaking United Nation, new Twin Star tag team champions. You got a new women's champion on Monday Night Raw. You got a new SmackDown women's champion on SmackDown, new women's champion on NXT. You got a new NXT champion on NXT. You got new IWGP heavyweight and junior heavyweight tag team champions, new Japan Pro Wrestling. You got new Never Openweight champions. You got a unified Red Pro and WWE Strong women's champions. And I still don't think I've covered everything that's happened in the first 8 days. But why do I say these things so freaking far when we are only in 8 days of New Year? Because they truly encompass the absolute madness that has been this first week in all things wrestling. The fuck's my life right now with this patch where I've got no voice after calling 50 plus matches across 5 damn shows and a fucking movie for that matter on Monday night. Fuck it though, I'm crazy. Let's freaking go. Okay, I think I got it off here for now. Hello, everybody. Hello, King. Welcome, everybody, once again to another very super simple AEW Impromptu. Out of nowhere, you know what this is. I am the Seminole Farzer. He is the Kaji King, Anthony. We, of course, been all elite since day zero, but we love all things wrestling. And we're just coming off the return of Kenny, by God, oh my God, with a new leash on life. And truly, it feels like a new beginning for the cleaner as we know it, and so much more that we'll briefly talk about. We're not expected to go long here, but again, shout out to the entire W fan, including that limited to the bearer of all things new, Eric Brown. I left him off for a reason because I said I'm going to keep this short. We are not going longer than 30 minutes. I'm saying that right now. Of course, talking about Preacher Man, Casey Flynn. Of course, I talk about Clean Across the Pond, Megan Chiba, who proves that Jade is worth more than gold. Charles, please follow Mary J on the social media platforms. Of course, our friend Shiana Chanel. Prayers and safety as always to you out in California with that wildfire, stupid nonsense, Mother Nature. Get a freaking break for Pete's sake. Josh, Jose, JD Ultra, the entire W family. You know what you are for We Are ATW, and we love all things wrestling. That being said, damn, dadgum King, fucking hell, we've been through what now? 8 different shows across every company, and every company so far has given us a moment to think about where do we even begin. But first off, how are you, man? Again, it's really been, I think, less than a week since we last were together, simply previewing WrestleKingdom and Wrestle Dynasty, which set up precipice for the year. And after my week of Japanese wrestling, I baptized once a cruise and by fire of the greatest wrestling on the planet. And now we're coming off Dynamite, which this time I felt bigger than the mother of all simulcasts. How you feeling, man? Good to see you.
Man, I'm glad once a year it only happens when it comes to WrestleKingdom week, because my sleep schedule last week was off the charts, off the railings, to where I could not get it back in place. Talk about from WrestleKingdom from 6 a.m. that it went off the air Central Time, and then I'm waking up from a near 12 hours sleep, and I'm like, dang, it's almost near Collision time on that Saturday night before we had to get ready for Wrestle Dynasty after Collision. And then at least a little bit of that got my sleep schedule back, but above all, WrestleKingdom always do this every year, in which I'm glad. Once a year to where my sleep schedule gets messed up, and I'm proud to even, and I'll admit it, I'll sacrifice that.
I mean, again, I'm a crazy man. You know me. I watch all things wrestling, including internationally. I literally took off work just to stay up during the night, to sleep and nap during the days, to call Marigold, to call Pro Wrestling Noah, to call New Japan Pro Wrestling, to call Wrestle Dynasty. And then, of course, the reality hit Monday, of course. And, of course, Monday Night Raw was a freaking feature movie on Netflix. Then you had NXT New Year's Evil, which also set its own standards, resetting its landscape, not to mention SmackDown with its cash-in. So, again, we're crazy. And I'm truly more crazy than anybody you've probably seen in this wrestling fandom. And, again, I barely am on the internet because, again, I focus on myself, life, and my love of all things wrestling. The tribalistic nonsense, the utter idiotic takes, and the utter stupidity out there in the world can go take a flying leap off the edge of the earth if you believe it's flat. Anyway, yeah, man, it's absolutely insane to think about what we've been through. So, yeah, I figured it'd just be fun to do a simple takeaway from what we've seen across all the shows. And I figured it'd just be a fun way to take away like our favorite match, maybe a unique moment, because of course each of the shows so far across everything here that Professional Wrestling said initially has really given us a lot of unique moments to consider. You figure about it again, we started off January 1st with Pro Wrestling Noah, the new Noah, Kenta returning home with Pro Wrestling Noah's 20th anniversary, taking on Keno for the second time ever in singles action on his 30th birthday after they went back in time, Keno dyeing his hair black second ever singles match, these two on the arc, 25-year anniversary of Pro Wrestling Noah, by the way, to celebrate this year. And it was a physical clinic, but Keno wanted to welcome Noah back home to stay here in the arc for the entire year. And it looks like, based on the reboot show that followed, it looks like we got just that. Then, of course, we saw Omos from WWE become our IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champion. We also saw the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions change hands. Shinsuke Nakamura and Uka Sasaki, a very unique one-time ever first dream encounter with a former MMA fighter turned pro wrestler taking on Shinsuke Nakamura, really about protege versus student. Shinsuke, the Dark Samurai, of course, coming in white. The Black Mist being the difference, coming in the United States champion, not to mention the What the F main event and what has continually been a constant here across the wrestling landscape. What started in Stardom last year with Saya Kamatari win the World Stardom Championship after going dark. This young, and I kid you not, young rookie, 2 years in the business, Osawa beat Katakimiya definitively in the Nippon Budokan, become the GHC World Heavyweight Champion, his first ever World Champion encounter that he created for himself. So, simply put, you saw highlights, you know about Shinsuke Nuka Sasaki, but you know about the other stuff too. What are some of your takeaways from the Pro Wrestling Noah show? What was your favorite match or a moment from that?
Shinsuke being this dark samurai. Like, I'm loving the presentation of Shinsuke being shown. Exactly. And it's like, I'm loving this Shinsuke, and I'm glad it's like a reset, in my opinion, for Shinsuke. But that was my moment right there, just Shinsuke showing up. Because, I got to show love to Shinsuke whenever I can.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely fair. And whether or not he shows up again and, tests Uka Sasaki, if he finds truly what he's supposed to be, whether he's fighter or wrestler, that remains to be seen. Also, the junior heavyweight championship changed hands as Eita was able to beat Daga, and Tadasuke has a guaranteed shot in any GHC title he wants now after winning the Ramble. What is it with every show having some form of Ramble, it seems, anymore? It's just becoming a constant. The Japanese shows all beginning with one. It seemed kind of redundant, ridiculous. Nabusura, of course, are becoming Mazuki to be holding on the GHC National Championship. And Yumba versus Big Brother, as Akio Dr. Wagner Jr. lost to his younger brother, Galina Del Ma, in front of their mother, also famous luchadore, in a very unique lucha encounter. So, yeah, and then, of course, Limit Break, the Pro Wrestling Noah showcase and experience, the triple threat, like I said, for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, as, of course, Yohei and Hayata were able to retain, but Hayata already now putting his size in the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship that he already had previously. Yeah, I thought it was a very tremendous show to set up the year for me as a fan of Japanese wrestling. And, of course, professional wrestling, my baptism by fire, of course, how I escalate things, of course, the entire landscape, because I always will put Japanese pro wrestling above anything here in the States, point blank simple. But I really enjoyed the show. I thought it had a lot of great moments. I thought Kenta and Keno was definitely one of those super physical clinics of the night. Both men tried to kick each other's Dan's head off. Dadgummit. And overall, I was definitely surprised by some results. But just one more thing, because, again, I know you don't know that much about wrestling, Noah, but, dude, what do you think of Omos being now a heavyweight tag team champion in Pro Wrestling Noah after plunging, of all people, and pinning Murafuji? Now he and Jack Morris are the GS Heavyweight Tag Team Champions for Team 2000X.
That is shocking to even hear you even say that Omos is in Pro Wrestling Noah and is automatically a champion in Noah. Like, if you would have told me in 2025 that Omos was going to go to Pro Wrestling Noah and become a champion, his first ever championship in his wrestling career alone, I would have called you a fool. But here we are, and apparently the great Muda himself, Kishimoto, has high praise for Omos. So I wouldn't mind seeing Omos double a bit in Pro Wrestling Noah for just a little bit longer.
I mean, you got the biggest man in all of Pro Wrestling Noah right now, literally a tag team champion, a literal kaijin, freaking Godzilla himself. Good grief, to hype this man, Murafuji, learned that first. I still can't believe they freaking won the tag team championships, too. That's just still ridiculous. And again, the same position as him and AJ Styles with Jack Morris on his shoulders while, of course, holding up the titles. It's crazy to think that Omos is now in the Arc. And I'm curious to see how far that goes and if he will bring that title back to WWE. Maybe in the Royal Rumble. Just saying. Because we've seen the person crossover with WWE, with NXT and Shinsuke Nakamura, particularly. Remember, it was Josh Briggs and Taman Heisman that took place in the M1 victory last year and heavily impressed Keiji Muto, who, of course, is a scouter also for Pro Wrestling Noah. One Man Fuji, of course, is part of the board. But yeah, overall, some insane moments that night, and the physical and mental warfare that Osawa put Kato Kiyomiya through while the Nippon Budokan was booing him out of the building too. I almost felt bad for Kato Kiyomiya, but clearly they did not believe that the Supernova is the guy to lead Pro Wrestling Noah. I hope they don't regret it. That's really all I gotta say about that. I'm just being honest here, bros. Anyway,
True.
I'm just saying. We also, of course, had the mother of all simulcasts, but again, I'm just gonna put it out there. I look at last week's AEW Dynamite. Julia Hart, of course, coming back with the win, the Black Mist, and Jamie Hayter's eyes. You know, both those women are going to be involved next week. We talk briefly about tonight's Dynamite. Just saying. We, of course, saw Rated FTR return. They got the better of Death Rise thanks to Jay White getting revenge on Wheeler Yuta. And honestly, besides that, the fact that the pointer system, I'm so excited, was used to usher in the excitement for the new year. Thankfully, not used tonight. Smaller arena, smaller set, bigger pop and circumstance feel with a fuller viewed audience, and overall a nice precipice, I think, for the AEW new era now amongst TBS, TNT, and Max. And not much more to say regarding last week's show. Do you have anything else you want to say regarding last week's show, King?
I honestly don't, but I will say this. Max, AEW, get your stuff together. Because from what I've been hearing, if you have an ad-free tier on Max and you watching Dynamite, you still get full commercials. You don't even get picture-in-picture. You just get full-on commercial. So that's the reason why I haven't bought into that, temptation of getting Max until the week before Revolution. But overall, I mean, last week showed a very, I would say much more of a debut presentation. It wasn't what we got tonight. It was more of, like you said before we started this. It was more of making moments. It was more of that than we did what we got tonight. Because what we got tonight was totally different from what we got last week.
Oh, yeah. This felt more like a new beginning, big beginning to me. I mean, again, Orange Cassidy came on that page. It was meh. Jeff Jarrett, though, did make the announcement. He has re-signed AEW, his last wrestling contract. As we learned from tonight, it is literally for 1 year. Max Caster, Sacrificial Lamb, you definitely are stupid, kid. As the Hurt Syndicate obliterated him, and now we see what that led to. And, of course, we also saw Ricochet show exactly what Swerve of an attitude is, stabbing Swerve in the head with scissors, as Jay White won the #1 spot in the Casino Gauntlet match that, of course, will be next week, Maximum Carnage, at the expense of Swerve Strickland and freaking Roderick Strong. Jesus, I did not know Ricochet had that in him, as he really was darn in the blood. On a white shirt. Boy, did Swerve make Ricochet pay in buckets. But the opposite
Bloody
way.
buckets.
Now, all I know is when Swerve comes back, Ricochet, he a dead man.
He's got a kill shot waiting on him.
Yeah, the target's there. Literally. It's just a matter of when he pulls the trigger and the bullet hits Ricochet. Or maybe a house call to the head. Who knows? Anyway, be aware what happens when you piss off the most dangerous man in AEW. Just saying. Anyway, as we moved on from there in the first week, Marigold, of course, had their first show in what was quite a setting stage for Joshi, of course, the strongest form of women's professional wrestling on the planet. We, of course, had new champions across the entire board, except for the DHC Women's Heavyweight Championship in its first ever defense. Of course, we saw Victoria Yazuki beat Yamasi, apologize for screw up the name, folks, for the Superfly, easy for me to say, right? The Superfly championship. Natsumi Shozuki. There it is. I had to think about it for a moment. Victoria Yasugi beat Natsumi Suzuki, try saying that 2 times fast, for the Marigold Superfly Championship. Very fun battle royal to kick things off here that was quite unique. We also had the super rookie Siri Yamako take Mirai to the 15-minute limit and beyond, but unfortunately a losing effort. So much promise for this young 18-year-old, by the way. So put that in perspective right there. We saw Bozilla bring a tank, quite literally, from the Netherlands. And Bozilla and Tank destroyed Chiaki and Nagisa Nosaki from Noah and became the new Marigold Twin Star champions. Tank looks bigger than Camille. I'm just putting it out there. That is a scary, scary, scary thing. I was beyond just flabbergasted by this physical anomaly. You need to see what Tank is to believe it. And then, of course, we had the Passion Sisters, Nane Takahashi. Of course, we knew Australians with long-running rival and tap partner, Michael Satomura, of course, in tag team match alongside Yuna, of course, a student of Michael from the Sendai Girls promotion, as Marigold Passion Sisters won against, of course, the Sendai Girls duo. We had Koki Amarai take on Chika Godo. Of course, these tag partners, there's still some tension there. I think the match definitely did not reach the point they wanted, and she's going to give her a rematch, and Koki was able to retain the Jason Women's Championship. Mai Sakurai came so far to promise and finally capitalized, beating a longtime foe and respected rival from Actress Wrestling in the current initial Marigold United National Champion, Miku Ano. Of course, lost the title to Mai Sakurai. Mai Sakurai winning her first singles championship in a young career in a phenomenal semi-main event. And King, the Queen of Roses, has been crowned in the sun's light as she was able to beat the sun god. Sarai lost the Marigold World Championship to Hutami Hayashita, who finally, I think, feels like she's achieved her dream and is back where she belongs. Now the face of Marigold Pro Wrestling. Now, I know you only know a handful of names because, one, you only looked at the highlights. Two, you only followed Stardom to a degree, especially when it came to the key names that left there to be part of this new promotion to pursue new opportunities. Mirai being literally a trainer there for that young super rookie, tells her, keep going stronger, you will be better. And then Utami Yashita, of course, came here for new challenges. And after a very tumultuous 2024, Utami Yashita is once again a world champion bearing the red belt of Marigold. But kudos to Sarai, arigato, a phenomenal run as the inaugural champion, but says she will be back. What's your thoughts on Marigold's first dream based on those results, and what do you think's ahead for the future?
I'm just glad Utami's back on top where she belongs. That's how I got introduced because of you and my friend Kevin. Shout out to Kevin, who also follows Stardom. It's probably especially Utami Hayashita and Hazuki. Those are his main two. But yeah, those are the main two that got me, y'all keep me up to date with. I'm just glad Utami back on top as champion.
And she's already been challenged by Tank.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's like, I'm next challenge. It's like, you want this? Yeah, just go watch the backstage comments. So I'm looking very forward to continuing following Marigold and Noah into this year, especially. All right. Now, let's go ahead and get a little bit more familiar with things. Of course, following this, we did have Stardom's Dream Tag. We had Stardom's, of course, first show after Dream Kingdom last year. Stardom New Year Dream. Biggest highlights I could think of course, is we had the return of Daimelo, who titled alongside Mina Shirakawa, the ultimate duo of shimmering. I'm just saying. And they took on Thekla and Athena in tag team action, and that was unique as Athena's first time in Stardom as she's now on her world tour as, of course, the forever Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Now, of course, Thekla and Athena, they did win the old face to Daimel, but Daimel looked very prominently strong in her return back to the ring. And it's good to see Daimel back still pump kicking people in the face. I'm very happy to see that. But of course, Thekla was with bigger intentions in mind. Following that, she wanted a challenge for Athena's prize, and Athena was having none of it. Boy, did that bite her in the ass when we talk about that later. And of course, these shows set up Stardom's new year, so it was a lot of tag team showcasing as we wonder who could challenge for the red belt. Now, Saya Kamatai, now that hate Rule the Wonder World Stardom ring. So that's about the only highlight I got because, of course, we were covering Marigold. We were not covering that tag show, but please stay tuned. We will be covering more of Stardom down the line here, courtesy of the Super Reliable Studios. But I just wanted to give Stardom their just due. And yes, I know when I say we, I mean me, because I'm crazy. But I'm sure I'll still have King along for the ride when, of course, I do the ATW highlights as part of our impromptus. All right. Now, bruv, this is where you shine. Let's go ahead and take away some thoughts from Wrestle Kingdom 19 in the Tokyo Dome. Before I give the rundown of the match results and my highlights, King, this was the first of a one-of-a-kind, first-time, 2-day spectacle of a weekend where we had everything and more across 5 different companies. But let's focus right now on just Wrestle Kingdom. I would like you to spearhead this conversation and give me some of your takeaways from Wrestle Kingdom 19. How was the show for you, bro?
You know how Wrestle Kingdom goes for me. Wrestle Kingdom is like how should I put this? My start of the year madness. And the biggest takeaway, 2 of them, but I'm going to keep one of them short and brief because I feel like, this right here. I am now aboard on the David Finlay train. David Finlay, you have impressed me. You wasn't the same old dude that you was in Finn Juice when you was tagging with Juice Robinson. You wasn't that same old dude whenever you was in your beginning stages of leadership in Bullet Club War Dogs. What you proved against Yota Tsuji made me a fan. Even though you lost the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. But Yota Tsuji, he's that gene blast. He's him. I mean, with the man with the most perfect smile. I don't know how he can get a perfect smile like that. That's impossible. But he's got the most perfect smile in wrestling. But David Finlay, you consider me a fan, but I'm still not rolling. That's still not my Bullet Club. But consider me a fan. But Shingo and Takeshita, you had me up on my feet early in the morning, marking the crap out of y'all's match. when I say that is strong style fighting spirit unleashed, that right there was a proven guarantee of Shingo Takagi and Konosuke Takeshita in a hard-hitting battle within those 2. And in the end, that left Konosuke with not 1 belt, but 2 belts. You could call him Alpha 2 belts at this rate. And now for what I've
this man on fire, which we'll talk about here shortly. Please continue.
And for what I've heard, also before we talk about that, Konosuke Takeshita revealed on the backstage press conference that he is signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling for 1 year and will be ready representing these companies. You ready, folks? AEW, DDT Pro, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. He is going to represent all 3 of those companies. Now, Shota Umino. Oh, my goodness. What can I say about this one? Zack Sabre Jr. tried to test your will. He tried to test your might. And at times you did show up. And he did drag it out of you for those periods of time. But it wasn't consistent. I was hoping you would continue that Death Rider spirit that Jon Moxley instilled in you, even though Zack Sabre Jr. tried to get it out of you and made sure that you wasn't trying to do like nobody else's move. You don't be like anybody else. Be you. But instead, you used the Death Rider. You used Death Rider, and you used your own version of Will Ospreay's Hidden Blade. And that's what Zack Sabre Jr. was trying to get through you. Don't be someone else. Be you. But in the end, you still can't shine in the bright lights, man. Something's got to change. Because right now, that's your second opportunity at the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. The first time you had it, the opportunity was at Resurgence against Jon Moxley. You failed on that one. And now here, months later, you failed again. You had a glimmer of hope, but you failed again. Something's got to change within you, Shota. I don't know what it is. Because that same crowd, that Tokyo Dome crowd booed the heck out of you like what it did in Ryogoku. Something's got to change, Shota. You either got to tweak yourself a little bit or you got to become a violent, like, shooter. Become a Death Rider shooter at this rate. Something's got to give. And Mayu and Asume, y'all should have got more time. Y'all should have got more time.
And done at high speed. They freaking went 10 minutes, what felt like 30.
That's my point. It should have been at least about 15 with the way these two went at it.
Right?
Still a good match nonetheless.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my moment to take away from Wrestle Kingdom.
Well done, man. And again, Wrestle Kingdom 19, definitely one of my favorite Wrestle Kingdoms in years. This show was tremendous, but let's just call the elephant out of the room. This is always going to be a dark of these men, and we have to acknowledge it. Well, we got to acknowledge it because, one, Doki get well soon. And again, El Desperado did not feel bad for a man that went all in when literally that's what he expected. And he looks forward when Doki returns to do this again. But yes, El Desperado is the new IWGP German champion via ref stoppage. And other news, Tanahashi was able to overcome Evil, thankfully, with a simple inside cradle roll-up. While Evil looked like he was playing an orchestrated entrance of the Aces' last Tokyo Dome entrance. Thankfully, that was not the case. ELP conquered cancer and was able to outlast the field, while Jeff Cobb broke Ren Narita's dildo. Weight bar. So we know that's no longer can come into play as ELP became the new Underworld Television Champion. It's ELP words, not my own. And then, of course, like you said, tremendous match as Mayu looks to surpass Kazuchika Okada's longest reign as IWGP Heavyweight Champion, continuing to prove the value of IWGP, and of course remains the icon of Star. While Sume continues to try and grow stronger. She knows she can beat her, but she doesn't know if she can beat her again. Not yet. That remains to be seen. In the Ramble, of course, we saw Hiroki Goto, of all people, win this, and now it's a guaranteed shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And maybe for the first time, he could be world champion in his illustrious career. Terror galore amongst all Tokyo as ladders and bodies broken bend as we have new IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions as Ichiban Sweet Boys, Kosei Fuja with a beautiful modified Dragon Sleeper with the use of the ladder for Cisco Akira. One in the end for TMDK. Now Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fuja are the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. And you already said it, but again, let's also point out David Finlay no longer has his title. Yoda is the new IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion after 2 team blasts, enduring Overkill and enduring into Oblivion, and somehow outlasting David Finlay's savage nature. A shout out, by the way, to the Brian Fury entrance. That was a pretty damn fucking cool touch. And again, in a battle of first time, last time, in what you thought could have been a retirement, anything but. Tetsuya Naito continues to prove that he is still the teacher, while Hiromu Takahashi is just the student. In under 30 minutes, Tetsuya Naito with 4 Destinos, after looking like he was about to render him to Stardust, but Hiromu said, no, don't do that. Hiromu's still trying to fight back all he could. Tetsuya Naito, of course, was able to beat Hiromu Takahashi with the Destino, but mutual respect was found in the end as both men raised their fist in the air. Los Ganabes de Japón for life. And you basically summed up what this was right here. A war with attrition, more so for Shota Umino, while Zack Sabre Jr. tested every fiber of his being against him, while the constant for Shota Umino was the DDT. If he used more than just focusing on the Death Riders and assault on Zack Sabre Jr.'s head, while Zack assaulted everything, I think that could have been the difference maker. In the end, though, it didn't take a Zack driver. It took a Sabre driver to put down the redneck after 44 minutes. Whether he's Naito, whether he's Tanahashi, whether he's John Moxley, whether it's Shota Umino, he still has to figure that out. He wants to be the new face of New Japan Pro Wrestling. But again, when it comes to being in that main event spot, he thrives. He just fails to succeed. As both men were looking for history, Shota Umino being the youngest challenger to Kazuchika Okada to challenge for the world title in the main event in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom, while Zack Sabre Jr., of course, the first foreigner to enter the Dome as champion and leave as champion at Wrestle Kingdom in a Tokyo Dome main event. Still a phenomenal night overall for Wrestle Kingdom 19, despite the one little asterisks, if we're going to call it that. And also, Katsuya Shibata returned home to New Japan Pro Wrestling to confront the Ace, save him from a House of Torture post-match beatdown, and challenge Tanahashi on his last ride one more time in a special 5-minute exhibition. And as far as Shota Umino goes, I mean, again, I just don't know what he needs to do, to your point, besides maybe add more to his arsenal. And kudos to Reshu's Umino not calling the match early, especially when he was surviving that ankle lock for 2 to 3 minutes. But again, not enough blunt force trauma to the head to Zack Sabre Jr. as Shota Umino focused on every variation of the Death Rider DDT imaginable. If he worked more on Zack Sabre Jr.'s core or the legs, not focus just one body part, I think that could have helped him. Because again, Zack dissects everything, including that vulnerable ankle, which he proved during that match. But kudos to Shota showing incredible heart and incredible fighting spirit in a losing effort. In what could become Okada and Tanahashi, because as Zack Sabre Jr. said, you're strong, get stronger, let's do this again. I think Shota Umino can definitely become IWGP World Champion, but it's going to take later rather than sooner at this point, in my opinion. Just saying.
Yes, it is.
We also learned, of course, that I swear Yo is losing his damn mind. Yo showing up as a male person, sealed with red lipstick. I don't even know what to say. Rocker Romero and Yo Roppongi revised K. I don't even know what this team is. Yo hurts my brain. Apparently, they challenged that new German Tag Team Champions, the most unique way to sign a contract during a backstage interview, if you all can believe that. Just saying. David Finlay, apoplectic, wondering where his belt is. Of course, he didn't have it. And then, of course, Naito and Roma were confronted by the United Empire. Oh, hell. Confirming his tag partner, Jeff Cobb, saying that if it wasn't for the Nare, you all wouldn't have won. There's a major asterisk to y'all win the World Tag League. We want revenge and redemption against you. We want you to be part of the triple threat now to crown new WGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions at Wrestle Dynasty. And as reluctantly as they always do, Hiromu and Naito, Flankilo, they accepted. If you can believe that. I'm pretty sure it wasn't for the United Empire. That press conference with Naito and Roma would have gone a whole lot longer. But anyway, there you go. And again, like you said, enough cannot be said. The reason why I saved it last. You know how I feel about the BMF title in New Japan Pro Wrestling. DDT versus Dragon Gate in NJPW while representing AEW as both titles were on the line. A kid who looked for this since he was 10 years old, facing Shingo Takagi for the first time ever, who was hungry to prove himself. They used every possible way you could hit each other in the head imaginable. It was a world-class elbow strike follow-up Raging Fire that finally allowed the Alpha to put down Rising Dragon, Rampage Dragon, who recently celebrated 20 years in wrestling and become the new Neverweight Champion. Incredible respect for a first-time endeavor as Konosuke did it on his own, and Konosuke proved how bad he wanted this and belongs in Cerulean Blue. To your point, DDT content is on Wrestling Universe, NJPW, NJPW.com, AEW, of course, here in the States. Konosuke right now is literally a global superstar, and I absolutely love to see it. Although I do hurt a little bit for Shingo Takagi, because again, that's another time he's come in as Never Openweight Champion and lost it in the Tokyo Dome. Mm-hmm. Wrestle Kingdom is not a single stage. It doesn't seem anymore. It's not. I'm just saying. All right. Now, let's go ahead and transition into Wrestle Kingdom, the first ever Wrestle Kingdom. As, of course, there was five companies represented here. Of course, started off with the kickoff show. We had 2 matches on hand there. As history was made, Dustin Rhodes, of course, returned to Tokyo Dome since time on side. Rest in peace, baby. Dusty Rhodes, his father, as Sammy and Dustin, the Sons of Texas, were able to defend the title successfully against Yoshiko Kamaru and Show of House of Torture. Thank Christ. After spinning the Satori special in Yoshinobu Kamaru's face, which I thought was freaking hilarious. In a very unique fatal 4-way for the women for the first ever International Women's Cup, we had Persephone, Black Widow. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be watching Persephone a lot more closely. That girl's got some moves and can go and might be a sleeper agent in NJPW of America. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Persephone is Black Widow taking on, of course, Momo Watanabe, Black Peach of Stardom, Willow Nightingale of AEW, and Athena of ROH. And even though it was pre-show, these girls went balls to the walls on each other in ridiculous 4-way action. As Fekla, of course, in Momo Watanabe's corner, at ringside was the difference maker, getting revenge on Athena for saying no. And as you said, a Louisville slug swing that would make any baseball player proud allowed Momo Watanabe to pin Willow excuse me, Athena, of all people, the Ring of Honor Women's Champion, to win the first ever National Women's Cup for Stardom and punch her ticket guaranteed for a shot at any title in Stardom. And she has chosen the IWGP Women's Championship held by Mayu Iwatani, the one thing that Momo cannot seem to eclipse, but might do with a peach sunset. But again, all four of these women look tremendous here, and it was a very close endeavor. Now that I talked about a little bit about the kickoff show, King, it's on you once again. You can talk more about the kickoff, but now let's go ahead and get your takeaways from Wrestle Dynasty, including what I'm pretty sure you and I are both going to call the match of the weekend for many, many reasons.
Oh my goodness. First off, Brody King and David Finlay. I once again, David Finlay continuing to impress me. Who knew that he had an underrated power game? Did you see how he lifted Brody King off that power bomb? That was insane. I didn't know he had a power game in him, and that got him the 1, 2, 3 just right off the bat. And I'm like, David Finlay is continuing to rack up wins, even though he lost the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship the earlier before in the Tokyo Dome to Yota Tsuji.
I thought the 3 deadlift powerbomb dominators to Yosugi was freaking impressive, ridiculous, but that was nothing. Futz. Continue.
And then, of course, we had Mina Shirakawa and Mercedes Moné. And I ain't going to lie, I love Mercedes and I love Mina. And I was with you on that with Mina Shirakawa taking the New Japan Strong and the Rev Pro and still retaining the Rev Pro British Women's Championship. But in the end, Moné changes everything once again, and now Mercedes Moné is on her belt collector run, as she is now the TBS champion, the New Japan Strong Women's champion, and now technically she holds 4 belts, but she does hold now the Rev Pro British Women's Championship. And yep, this is the start of her belt collector run, so we might as well get used to it at this rate.
One damn good leg, as much as I hate to say it, as Mina was destroying her right leg and knee and had her trapped in the figure 4 leg lock quite repeatedly, could even hit the glamorous driver, and somehow Moné still survived. One Moné maker. Damn it. Continue.
Yeah, she did. And of course, we had Yota Tsuji, Jack Perry, which was now there for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship due to Yota Tsuji beating David Finlay for that title. And it was, for me, it was decent. It was decent, but it took one G blast, of course, for Yota Tsuji to get the win over Jack Perry. And as soon as Jack Perry was walking off with the water bottle, he threw the water bottle at Yota Tsuji. He just randomly just caught it. And I'm like, so not only do you have a perfect smile, you can wrestle, but you can catch water bottle without even looking too. What more can you not do, Yota Tsuji? What more can you not do?
He's a guy to watch out for in 2025, man. Now he has a tire where he can change the world. Just saying. Continue.
I mean, this is a man who went on excursion, came back, had multiple opportunities, and of course it set him back. But now I feel like you said, he is a rising star to watch in 2025, and I can't wait to see where he goes from here as IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. But then, of course, we had like you said, Great O'Khan found his partner and Jeff Cobb. And then, of course, we're taking on Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi. And I'm going to say it. You know I am. Respect your EVPs. You can love them. You can hate them. But you got to respect them. When it came to this 3-way match, this was a banger. This was a banger. Of course, when you had Great O'Khan. Yeah. It really was insane. And of course,
it was no tax. All 6 men went balls to the wall ballistic.
And what my takeaway of that match was, didn't even happen before the bell even rang. They brought back old school double barrel from when they was in Bullet Club. Yeah. That caught me off guard. But of course, welcome to the King's Secret Kingdom, as they were wearing the Air Jordan 3 Retro Cement. But no, Red Cement. Red Cement. But once again, yes,
damn it,
and yes, they are now once again your 2-time IWGP heavyweight tag team champions, the Young Bucks. And as I've learned throughout days ahead, they will defend those IWGP heavyweight tag team championships at New Beginning in Osaka. So they will be staying in Japan for a little bit longer than I'd expected. But I'm okay with Young Bucks action one way or another. Now,
I mean, New Japan is probably more justified for them, honestly, based on their style and based on what I saw. So okay, I'll give you that. Continue.
Now, before I get to the match of the weekend, I'm going to get to Zack Sabre Jr. and Ricochet, because Ricochet has unleashed this new attitude within himself, within AEW, and that's carried over to New Japan Pro Wrestling. But that same attitude that he's been carrying did not get him a championship victory, as basically Zack Sabre Jr. retained, and both of them were wrestling, and I'm talking wrestling their butts off. But you had
there was no stopping here with these two,
right? But you had to follow up what I'm about to talk about now. This man, who I'm wearing, as you see right here, was out for 300 plus days, dealing with diverticulitis. Had 2 feet of his intestines taken out of him, questioning himself if he was ever going to wrestle again. Wanted to come back. Doc said, but the doc told Kenny, we don't know if you can return back to what the Kenny Omega was, what you used to. What that proved to me right there, what happened early Sunday morning, you can never, ever doubt against the cleaner. And basically, when he came out, the Tokyo Dome crowd gave him what you would not expect. Gave him a chorus of boos and Gabe Kidd with cheers, as Gabe Kidd was rocking the old, you would say, the short shorts with the New Japan logo. What he started out as. He was representing New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's what he was instilled, and that's what he will die for, is by New Japan Pro Wrestling. While you had Kenny Omega, who was carrying New Japan Pro Wrestling in the 2010s with Bullet Club, and then post Bullet Club a little bit afterwards, before he made the move to AEW. It was more of Kenny trying to get the crowd back on his side. And yes, he had to adjust. He had to play heel in this rate, because that tope what he did over the barricade to Gabe Kidd, that was old Kenny. Old Kenny just came out of him, because I'm like, dude, you just came back from diverticulitis and you already pulling off this? And that woke Gabe Kidd up. And that got Gabe Kidd to basically take the fight to Kenny Omega. Took the limit to Kenny Omega. But when it comes to Kenny, when his back is against the wall, the way it was early Sunday morning, you better stay on that attack and never give up that fighting spirit. And which Gabe Kidd didn't give up, but in the end, Kenny Omega always finds a way to overcome the odds. And that's exactly what he did in a 44-minute brutal. It wasn't even a match, folks. It was basically war within these two. What all started from a backstage scuffle to led to here in the Tokyo Dome. And it made Hiroshi Tanahashi joyful of tears. If that does not represent New Japan Pro Wrestling, if that does not represent the lion mark that it shows to this day, if that doesn't show strong style, fighting spirit unleashed, the same words that I said about Shingo Takagi and Konosuke Takeshita at Wrestle Kingdom the night before, I don't know what will. because that right there showed that Gabe Kidd is here. Gabe Kidd has arrived, and Gabe Kidd is another one to look out for in 2025 to continue his 2024 as still the New Japan Strong Openweight champion, which he's got to defend that title against Tomohiro Ishii in a few days in San Jose, by the way. But always, you can never doubt Kenny Omega. But when you have a Hiroshi Tanahashi cry, joyful tears, what else there needs to be said? Respect the bold men.
Eat your heart out, Dave Meltzer. Your ratings don't mean jack shit. Tanahashi cried. I'm just saying.
But yeah, that was Wrestle Dynasty and Wrestle Kingdom, especially Wrestle Dynasty, had me, especially Kenny. Kenny knows how to do it. He knows how to pull it out. He knows how to pull out all the hits, and just basically just give you the cleaner that we once know him. That's still to this day.
I mean, what else can I say about that? It hasn't been said. Why do you think I put him in the yellow? I'm in the red. Just saying. Well said, King. Again, folks, there's a reason why there's no host here. I just help try and guide stuff to talk about. There's no script. It's uncensored. It's unscripted. It's on time. I'm crazy. I'm not Tony Khan. I can't predict how long this goes. We've already gone 45 minutes. We still got a couple more shows to go, including AEW. Well, yeah, King, well done. So, yeah, let me go ahead and give the rundown real quick, and I'll give my simple takeaways. I already talked about the pre-show. We started with a Lucha Gauntlet that, of course, represented stars from CML and New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kuma limited to Master Wato, Taji Shimori, Soprano Jr., Hechicero is insane, and I freaking love it. I'm just putting it out there. Titan, as well as, of course, the El Desperado, who basically became prime target for everybody else. In the end, Taji Shimori was able to sneak a win, and El Desperado pinning the champion. That pissed everybody off. Of course, we got a 5-minute exhibition. Chops, more chops. Well, I don't think it had to be 5 minutes. More chops. And both men were loving it. As we had Katsura Shibata and Hiroshi Tanahashi just wailing away on each other for old time's sake. As Tanahashi, of course, is on his last run. And if that's in between him and the wrestler, what a way to close that out or really fire up the ace during this last year. I got not much more to say about that. That was baptism by fire, and I absolutely freaking loved it, as these two only know how to do. Just saying. As I said earlier, Mina Shirakawa came with a game plan against Mercedes Moné, executed it flawlessly, but Moné was able to persevere, hook her up for one Moné Maker while sporting a Sailor Moon cosplay. Not going to lie, that kind of popped me. And Mercedes Moné was able to beat Mina Shirakawa, now, of course, a Trifecta Company champion. But Mina will rise again. I still believe in Mina, and I still want Mina. But congratulations to both of these women on putting on an absolute clinic. To those that are thoughts about Monet, I ask you again, protect your mentality and think about the joy and the good you see in wrestling. David Finlay, like you said, a strange showcase, a bounce back, making Brody King his first victim on the road to him reclaiming his crown. He's even asked post-match, where is my belt? Didn't even use the shillelagh at all, as Brody King had every possible physical onslaught thrown at him to David Finlay, but David Finlay refused to stay down. A match of perseverance for the Savage King, the boss dog, as he was able to put down the House of Black's heavy. Claudio Castagnoli was able to put Shota Umino through a very physical clinic, but Shota, call it what you will, call it maybe a bounce back, call it maybe a half and half, call it maybe an empty win. He was able to find a way to put Claudio Castagnoli down with that very Death Rider and send a message to Jon Moxley, as Claudio said post-match, not the way he wanted to come in Tokyo Dome, first time debut, but he came to teach Shota Umino a lesson. I think I taught him a lesson, but he still has much more to learn. Something tells me this is not the only time we're going to see these two go one-on-one in a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring. And I don't think Shota Umino is any closer to getting Jon Moxley's attention. You still have a lot to yearn, young boy, shooter. Like you said, Yota Tsuji was able to beat Jeff Perry. This match, he was all right. Again, this was just crazy. Triple threat turmoil chain reaction clinic. Everyone had a chance to win here. In the end, it was the Meltzer driver, Tony Khan driver on Greto Khan that allowed the Young Bucks to win and become two-time IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, while everybody got to put on all the best stops here, from super kick parties to a friggin' suplex clinic by Greto Khan and Jeff Cobb, to everybody getting caught with arm drags, to unique alliances. At one point, you had Romu and a Buck working together, and then the Buck turned on him. I knew that was going to happen pretty much.
Yeah.
And a great old Khan trying to play all those different disciplines. It just wasn't enough here. So congratulations to the Young Bucks once again coming back home to New Japan and becoming tag champions. I loved this match, but I loved this match even more because you know my boy, Tomoshi E, he may have no neck, but he doesn't know now. He does not know how to stay down as he grit his teeth sometimes during a fucking world class and refused to fall. It took a whole fucking lot more, I think, for Ganosuke to put the Stone Pitbull down. And where I will say what I say all the time about this guy, you fight this man, you fight him within an inch of your life, because he's going to fight you as if he's fighting with his own life on the line. And Ishii came so damn close to being the alpha, unable to execute the vertical drop brainbuster, as Konosuke was able to put down the Stone Pitbull. Again, tremendous respect shown, and cement himself as a double champion, representing 3 different promotions. Again, what a dream, what an accomplishment for Konosuke Takeshita, the hottest rising young athlete right now in the professional wrestling business globally. I said what I said. And again, you already talked about Ricochet and Zack Sabre Jr. Ricochet starting out of the gates, attacking the champion immediately, much more quicker to the shot versus Shota Umino. Came very close. The Spirit Gun, though, in the end, after a 630 crash and burn, almost cost him. He got caught, both arms trapped, and next thing you know, he had no choice but to tap after the constant work done by Zack Sabre Jr. on the arms and the neck, including at one point the deadlift German over the top rope to the floor, and the 4 consecutive Germans from the ring to the apron to the floor by Ricochet. Ricochet came out and showed out here tonight, testing Zack Sabre Jr. in a whole different way, but it was not meant to be, as the frontman still leads New Japan Pro Wrestling. Gotta say, by the way, I love his new mixtape theme and backdrop LED Titantron. That is fucking awesome. Just saying.
Young punks.
Oh, grow old. And about to say again here, this was a test of spirit. That was fighting spirit. God damn it. These men both bleed buckets. They battered and bruised and scarred each other physically and left the ace emotionally. Seeing the rise of Gabe Kidd from a young lion. And Kenny Omega saying the jokes are over. I'm going to teach you a lesson, Greg. No, I know what your name is. Again, not accepting the hand. Shares what Will Ospreay did back at WrestleKingdom 17. In the end, to your point, King, the same fucking combination. Kama Goye, One Wing Angel, Kenny Omega prevails in the Tokyo Dome once again. Polarized reaction aside, it was the biggest gas, the biggest hype. It was the biggest anticipated match of the entire fucking night, and it lived above and beyond expectations, added by the fuel of Chris Charlton's pride for New Japan Pro Wrestling and his biased commentary towards anything AEW, particularly, especially here, including Bryce Resber being the starting official, but Red Shoes Umino being the finishing official. As he tried to establish law and order, but that was not meant to be, as these two literally fire, slapped, chopped, and punched the living shit out of each other until they couldn't move no more. A phenomenal return to form for the cleaner with a new lease on life, but a star-making war brought by Gabe Kidd in defeat in the name of New Japan Pro Wrestling, what that lion mark represents. There's not enough good things to be said about this match and the risk both men took and the spirit they demonstrated and represented. This was my match of the weekend by spades, goddammit. And this was second. But absolutely a phenomenal first one-of-a-kind showcase demonstrating how all the wrestling worlds can come together for the love of the sport in the highest degree to bring the hardest, highest form of competition. I absolutely loved this. And whether or not it's an annual thing or a once in maybe a couple years type thing, I hope that it still holds that special value, because we have the Forbidden Door, but this was truly an open portal to the entire wrestling world brought forth on the Tokyo Dome stage. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I really do hope to see something like this again in the near future, but keep the prestige and the importance and the special nature there. Don't treat it like a glorified annual post-WrestleKingdom event. Because truth be told, a lot of this roster is in Japan Pro Wrestling. They weren't the previous night before. So, again, just saying. But yeah, I absolutely love this top to bottom. And of course, Fallout, we talked about again. David Finlay, he wants his title back, but it sounds like after the New Year's Dash, Gabe Kidd might have his eyes on the Gene Blast. Just saying. And also, of course, continued tension fallout with Sonata and Taiji. And also War Match with Josh Barnett. He will be back in New Japan Pro as he's part of the Rambo, of course, testing Bolin Oleg, Boss, and also testing the final exhibition at New Year's Dash. Tremendous stuff galore. And, of course, right now, the United Empire making a mockery out of Shota Umino. I face the Uno might try and buck up on behalf of Hontai against the United Empire. We will see what happens with that soon enough as Cisco Akira has a new list the way he wants to become the face of the junior heavyweights. And TJP, that just means more doors are open for him as the captain of the United Empire. Just saying. So we'll see what happens as we head towards the new beginning in Osaka, where it looks like it will be Tajimori getting a chance against Desperado sooner rather than later for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, as that was made official for this Saturday at Battle in the Valley. And yes, I'll be coming Battle in the Valley with Walter Cruz here at Survivor Studios this Saturday night. Come forward if you can. We have Sumi Sakai's retirement trios match. We have a unique elimination 8-woman tag match and so much more, where Zack Jr. hopes to defend the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Hechicero in a long overdue rematch. But again, will it become for that? The time will tell, and so will the New Japan officials. Because again, Satsumi Jr. may have the title, but he doesn't control what Sugar Bayashi and Hiroshi Tanahashi will sign off on, or Rocky Romero. But yeah, Wrestle Dynasty was just a perfect love note to encompass everything I love about professional wrestling, not being defined under one roof, but being shared and unified across multiple. I absolutely fucking loved this show. And again, aside the Scapegoat Jeff Perry and the Yoda Suji was probably your cooler match of the night. It was all right. I mean, again, this show was just absolutely great. I just wish there was more women's wrestling on the main card than that one match, because I think the 4-way should have been on there, personally. I'm just saying. But anyway, first International Women's Cup go to Stardom. Congratulations. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get out of the weekend and move into this week as I lied. I always lie. We never have a time limit here. We just keep going until we can't keep going no more. We got 3 more shows. Let's go ahead and switch the channel and tune in to something global. King, we had a global showcase, a global presentation, a global premiere of epic movie proportions to the point that apparently beat out Squid Games. Raw on Netflix. Raw on Netflix brought everything, including The Rock, John Cena. It brought a new women's world champion and the biggest badass this generation, being endorsed by the biggest badass in WWEF history, and the American badass. You'll talk more about that, I'm sure, surely. We had a grudge match with Drew McIntyre, but we did with Jey Uso, which was freaking hilarious. Michael Cole on the announce table with Pat McAfee. I never thought I'd see that in my life. He actually did it. I'll be damned. Of course, the final boss set the stage for the night, for the epicness of this premiere, of course, being the biggest star in all of entertainment. We, of course, went into tribal combat where we finally got to acknowledge once for all who is the one true tribal chief. Damn it. And by the way, WWE, you did good. You got me redeemed. You got my redemption from that piss poor bullshit from SummerSlam in Ford Field 2 years ago. Nice job. And we also, of course, had in the main event of a very light show on wrestling, which definitely felt more like a movie. I'm being perfectly honest here. CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins, Phil Brooks versus Tyler Black, whatever the fuck you wanted to call it. And again, what really felt like a full circle moment, I think, for CM Punk more than anything else. And I'm sure a whole lot more stuff in between, but again, a lot of it was promo, commercials, Netflix endorsement. It kind of wore me out to a degree, as WWE does, and also I don't watch movies. But I will say this before I give it over to the Kanji King. Raw on Netflix was fun. It was special. And I actually did enjoy it as somebody that does not watch WWE television verbatim. But I still do care about the specials. Now, why I care about the specials when they go to Netflix, jury's still out. King, what was your thoughts on the Raw Netflix premiere? Your takeaways, and what do you think it means going forward for WWE?
Oh man, LA, y'all never fail to disappoint me. This is why y'all are one of my favorite cities to enjoy. especially the one that you left out. You was talking about the whole Doki and El Desperado thing. Let's get the elephant out of the room with that. Let's get the elephant out of the room of what really happened on Monday Night Raw on Netflix in LA, because when it hurts crashing down and it hurts inside.
Yeah,
That man, Hulk Hogan, got booed in front of 14,000 people in the Intuit Dome, to where that was music to my ears. Now, for the ones that going to question this, why did Hulk Hogan get booed, you ask? Let the King bring you up to speed here a little briefly. If you remember what happened years ago that got him fired in the first place, I'm not going to go into more detail about it. Y'all go look it up yourselves on that aspect. That got him fired and now brought back. And then all of a sudden, before it went on the air, WWE announced a partnership with Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer, which Stone Cold was right there. I don't know why y'all didn't negotiate with him on the Stone Cold Steve Austin Broken Skull IPA, but that's neither here nor there. But the reason why Hulk Hogan got booed is because, I guess I'm going to have to say it. But I'm going to spell it in case I'm not saying the full word. RACISTS. Racist. That's the reason why he got booed. It wasn't because of politics, people. It's not because of that. Not because of politics. It's because of what he did years ago, and LA never forgets. And also, Travis, you my guy. I listen to your music on a daily basis. But really, dude, we doing this now in the Netflix era. We doing that now. We puff on before the entrances. Now is that what we're doing?
I guess.
And like you said, for a guy that I would never thought about that. Shit. But it was nice to see Travis there, and of course Jey Uso. Yeet. Never thought I'd see Michael Cole get on top of the announcers table, but here we are. And Pat McAfee, of course, couldn't yeet out of control. But the one takeaway is this: even though we'll get to New Year's Evil here, we probably won't.
Well, we will. I mean, we're going to.
What was The Rock's promo about Monday night? Because he was basically, and I finally figured it out too. And I know this is going to be a hot take, and I've seen this hot take, and I kind of agree with it.
What?
That Netflix on Raw wasn't meant for the hardcore fans that watch it on an every Monday basis.
Well, duh.
That was more of, let's bring in these casuals, or let's bring in longtime viewers like that used to watch this on a daily basis, from a long time ago in their life. Let's try to bring them back. Exactly. Let's try to bring them back. And they did that to a T. But Rock, what was it with that promo you cut, saying all the attendance, and then you hugged Cody? You hugged Cody. Did you forget that you were the final boss or something? Like, out of the blue, you just hugged Cody. Like, that gave me an early indication right there. That gave me an early indication that he's possibly not going to work Mania. Because Ibu from Wrestle Purist reported that The Rock is supposedly not going to make WrestleMania season because of Moana 2 reshoots. So, in my head, I'm like, so you hugging Cody kind of destroys the story between the both of you leading up to WrestleMania 40 last year. It kind of destroyed that. But what you said on New Year's Evil, which we will talk about here shortly,
right?
It kind of like made Monday, what you said last night, more confusing. But I will say that tribal combat between Roman and Solo, yes, I agree with the simple man. That was much better what you did at SummerSlam. Way better than what you did at SummerSlam.
I had to endure that drizzling shit's live.
But I knew I just watching highlights. I see it all on the Twitter feed. I see it on the Instagram feed, even the Blue Sky feed. Who I follow that watch WWE and AEW. Why y'all show multiple commercials on a 3-hour show? Seriously, it was commercial, ad, match, promo, commercial, ad. I'm like, this is why I can never get interested in a WWE product like that full time ever again. I'll watch the main pay-per-views, the big ones, the PLEs. My bad, people. ELEs. We're still calling them pay-per-views.
Yeah, letters and convention.
But this is why I can never get interested in watching the show like that full time. Because you put in this amount of matches with a lot of promo time and a lot of commercial and advertisements. Get that fixed and we will talk. But until then, I just can't get into it big full time like that, like I used to. I left that high and dry in 2021.
Yeah, it almost felt like they were trying to make it look like a Peacock PLE, except they literally, to your point, added commercial breaks in between matches. And I get it, it was still TV, but I figured your premiere, you would fork out the money to be more commercial free to let everybody actually engage in this. Wasn't that one of like the promises you were going to talk about like a little while back or something like that? Maybe they needed to like cover the cost, the Intuit Dome. I don't freaking know. Now I could get going in between matches. You do like a single commercial, maybe to promote something. That makes more sense. But in between matches, that's where I draw the line when it comes to something as massive as that. And I still stand by the fact that the best time for a TV television show, even if you're trying to make it feel like a pay-per-view, should be only 2 hours, especially when your 3 hours only has 4, count them, 4 damn matches. Are you kidding me? Now, I really want to see the metric breakdown of how much time was given to promo for so all time for matches, for so all time for advertising bullshit like you were talking about. But semantics aside, I will talk about the good in this because, again, it wasn't trash. And the promo, yeah, the Rock promo is what it is. It's The Rock, all right? People are always going to listen to The Rock. It is what it is. John Cena, though, that hit me more because John Cena now is basically saying why The Rock may not be involved in WrestleMania, John Cena might be. And he did drop some very interesting names. I mean, let's just think about this here. Looking for the elusive 17th. Never say never. There's Gunther, who cares about Logan Paul? There is Cody Rhodes. That right there would really force people, I think, to pick a side. I'm just saying.
Like No Mercy 2017?
Yeah. Again, they're running back. Maybe you talk about that. I don't know. Let's see. Triggers on his eyes. I'm just saying. John Cena can still be the man on the mic, by the way, too. And again, John Cena, thank you. I look forward to seeing what 2025 brings that to you. All right, Cam, I'm just going to put you on the spot before I talk about the rest. John Cena, number 17. Does he do it?
Yes. He may say he don't want to become champion, or he will strive to become champion once again and get that 17. But from his words, I just don't see him. I see it. He's going to go 17 before he retires. It's a matter of when and how.
I think you also got to consider the who, but I'll just leave it at that. And to your point, again, John Cena even said that it's about this generation. Think about that. A selfless man talking about this generation versus the past generation. Ain't that some crazy shit? So again, massive respect. But again, all the young, hungry talent here at WWE that's thriving under this new Padres of their landscape that we're enjoying more thoroughly than ever before in years, decades, honestly. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm curious to see who he goes against first. Braun Breaker. Again, there's a lot of unique names right there that I'm like, John Cena versus blank. LA Knight. Yeah.
Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo. There you go. That one would be very interesting. Talking about Trick Williams saying, when you knew your time was now. Of course, Trick Williams, we'll talk about that here in a moment. Again, just putting it out there. Ilya Dragunov. Again, the fire, the drive when Ilya comes back from injury. I mean, And of course, the man that was talked about in a promo, the Ring General Gunther, who of course waits to see who will challenge him when it comes to the sacredness of this ring. Not Logan Paul. So again, I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, talking about the other stuff, like you said, yeah, Tribal Combat was very unique. Of course, had both the bloodlines get involved here. Sammy Uso and well, I guess it's justified here. Sami Zayn, Jimmy Uso, Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, all hell broke loose. In the end, it was Roman Reigns that was able to put down Solo Sikoa and return the Ula Fala bestowed upon him by Dwayne The Rock Johnson himself, the final boss, who already acknowledged him as the tribal chief, now the one true tribal chief, as he walked away and talked about, again, the grandest stage to cement what is next for him. Apparently, it will be January 27th, the Monday before the Royal Rumble. Gee, I wonder why he picked that day. I'm just saying. Anyway, just saying. Going on from there, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, the feud that seemed like it would never end, my friends, has finally come to an end, despite the fact Raquel and Dominic were trying to get involved here and even trying to take her into oblivion with a steel chair. But to Liv Morgan's credit, surviving a riptide, it took another emphatic riptide and a kiss goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, Mommy is back on TOP all caps. Thank Christ. On top, once again, WWE Women's World Heavyweight Champion, and finally put that disrespectful two-faced son of a bitch in his place, Dominic Mysterio, with a beautiful kick to the uprights and a riptide in place. And then endorsed by the ultimate badass in WWE history, American Badass Undertaker. The only thing missing was Rhea Ripley taking a being on Undertaker's chopper in the bitch seat as they rode around ringside. I was waiting for that moment, and not just a rare moment shot, but still a pretty fucking awesome, cool moment. I'm not gonna lie. Again, nostalgia though. Just saying, nostalgia. Yeet. And again, Drew McIntyre underestimated Jey Uso. This could be Jey Uso's year. I'm spending big things for him as Jey Uso got the better of the Scotsman. A simple trap roll-up off of freaking Claymore. Drew McIntyre, your emotions got the better of you again. Although I do wonder now if this means Drew McIntyre is going to solely target Jey Uso and become even more unhinged like he did with his feud last year. Just saying. A tough way to kick off the new year, though, for the Scotsman. So good luck, especially thinking about the Royal Rumble. We also, of course, saw backstage Chad Gable and American Made confront Adam Pearce, where he wants to prove that he is better than a luchador. So Adam Pearce is going to make some calls. And we will see what happens next week on Monday Night Raw. Gee, I wonder. Anyway, just saying. Well, again, what do I know? I don't know nothing. I know nothing. We also know that the first ever WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion will be crowned between Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Kai next week in the finals. Something tells me if Dakota Kai doesn't win next week, I think Casey's going to have another sermon in the chats. Casey, on behalf of the AEW fam, we are rooting for Dakota Kai, but there's one thing she has to challenge. Everybody thinking she is nothing more but injury prone. While Lyra's been on the rise since being part of the draft. It's not the first time we've seen Lyra in the finals of a tournament and coming up short. Does history repeat? Do we get a first time ever once again in what's been a week of first times crowned? Just saying. I'm just saying. And then, of course, as we move on from there, we also got CM Punk and Seth freaking Rollins in our main event, a very hostile, volatile fight, it felt like. CM Punk going back to the roots of ROH, Triple X, the white and black jersey type days. I was just waiting for him to come out to his ROH theme, but WWE's not going to fork out the money for that. Again, WWE music, you kidding me? Anyway, we saw CM Punk literally endure Seth freaking Rollins' barrage from curb stomps to attempted pedigree. Seth freaking Rollins beside himself at times, even using CM Punk's own go-to sleep. Unable to put down the Second City Saint, who rose through a couple of high kicks, a GTS that rebounds Seth into the ropes as Seth fell onto his shoulders. And a second fact, go to sleep, CM Punk wins his first singles match this year. His first time facing Seth freaking Rollins is coming back to WWE this time around, clean as a whistle in the middle of the ring with a Seth freaking Rollins looking almost perplexed and a CM Punk feeling like he has been cleansed. As he ain't doing this backstage in the interview, of course, talking to Denise Salcedo. Please subscribe, follow Denise Salcedo today. I love Denise's work. She's a wonderful person in the wrestling community. She does wonderful stuff. And yeah, that was Raw on Netflix. As they immediately cut it off. God, that just tells you how much time they actually friggin' put into this friggin' damn thing. Glorified, overly advertised, but hey, cool moment with Rhea Ripley. Great promo by John Cena. I thought the Yeet moment was fun. And again, CM Punk beats Seth. I mean, I don't think people were surprised by that. But it does bring back that whole idea of, I wonder if Roman Reigns remembers that Paul Heyman owes CM Punk a favor. Just saying. But I thought the Raw on Netflix was fine for what it was. I really wish, though, I could have just fast forward for the probably 90% of 90 minutes worth of advertisements. When you only got 4 matches on a 3-hour wrestling show, you kind of lose me. Wrestling is about wrestling, not branding and over-promoting.
Amen.
Just saying. All right, that was Raw on Netflix. That was pretty simple to take away. Let's go into our second to last show here as we talked about NXT New Year's Evil, which was much more enjoyable. But I will say this real quick. Fuck CW, fuck this E, and the only way I'm watching NXT from now on, I don't care if we're doing watch-alongs. Unless you pay me, I ain't doing it. Because fuck advertisements, fuck ad clicking, fuck bootleg pirating when you can't friggin' have the channel because Cable and Sally somehow still is fame, even though most people are going to streaming on this obsolete channel that is more harder to get to than Access TV or TNA. I did check out NXT New Year's Eve and I was pleasantly surprised. As of course, I am still NXT to a degree. It is not black and gold, but it's far, far better than what it used to be. Congratulations, Shawn Michaels Publishers, for making me a fan once again, and Ava ran your tremendous job as the general manager. So let's go ahead and give NXT the credit that is due, because NXT New Year's Evil rocked the house. And yes, The Rock closed the promo at the end of the show, as I know you will talk about here. I'm just going to go ahead and simply talk about what I care about the most when it comes to NXT, and that is the definition of being WWE's brand for what's the words I'm looking for? I know that onto my tongue. I'm tired. I'm almost brain dead at the 8th day of the year. It starts the P. Oh yeah, that's right. Professional wrestling. Damn it. Anyway. And boy, was it a professional wrestling effing clinic and a reset in the landscape. We start off with the prodigy of WWE, the hardest female worker not named Chelsea Green. I said what I said. Roxanne Perez, the ring IQ of this freaking athlete is fucking ridiculous. Roxanne Perez taking on Julia for the second time ever singles encounter, once again for the NXT Women's Championship. What star on the CW premiere when this brand was rechristened in the black and chrome on this fuck-off network. Fuck CW for life. I don't give a shit what you all watch or what you all care about that channel. Don't care. We, of course, saw her taken to the absolute limit. Pop Rock survived. Cora Jade coming to the aid of her frenemy. In the end, somehow, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful man that's fucking did it. Julia is the new NXT Women's Champion. Congratulations, beautiful madness, and thank you to the prodigy on redefining what it means to be a fighting women's champion in WWE with more than just one person. Hey, that's some crazy shit. Over a freaking year-long period, redefining what it means to lead a division, grow, evolutionize it, and challenge it, and not just pigeonhole or mid-card it to a friggin' title you made because you couldn't figure out jack shit to do with the rest of the women. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Anyway, congratulations to Julia, but I am very curious what that means for the prodigy's future sooner rather than later. Just saying. In other news, Lexis King was able to hold on to the Heritage Cup against Charlie Dempsey. I'm not sure what's going on there. Heritage Cup still feels out of place ever since after UK died. I'm still very sad about that. Gigi Dolan, Tina Paxley, and Shotzi, they were able to overcome Fatal Attraction in 6-woman tag team action. As Final Him right now has all the targets pointed out against her. Speaking of targets, we now know who will challenge her next for the NXT Women's North American Championship. In Fatal 4-way action between Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice, Cora Jade, and Stephanie Valkyrie. Stephanie Valkyrie remains undefeated in NXT and is now the new one contender to interesting enough, Fallon Henry's NXT Women's North American Champion. Now, this would be interesting. Julia the World, Stephanie the North. You don't think that could mean, I'm just going to leave that out there alone for now. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. What are you talking about? I'm absolutely not saying anything. And then the only other match of the night, as far as I can remember, because again, I'm tired, we of course had the NXT Championship. We were looking to whoop that trick or see if Eddie Call Fredericks can once again shenanigan his way, this time to actually win the championship. Why, the ruler felt like that literally all this was a foregone conclusion to avoid beating him because you couldn't, because I let you stay champion. As Obafemi, he did it. Obafemi is now the ruler of NXT and is the new, damn it, NXT champion. And that was NXT, as we have new champions now leading both the women and the men of NXT. The new year continues to bring brand new champions across the entire professional wrestling landscape. Brand new world champions, might I add. The only world champion that has survived this last week is Zack Sabre Jr. 2 nights back to back. Put that in perspective. Okay, Kane, now it's on you. And I know you got a lot to say regarding, especially the closing promo, considering before that he was confronted by Eagles and Page in ever-range general manager room. I'm very curious what that might mean for all Eagle, just saying. What are your takeaways from NXT New Year's Evil? And what is your takeaway from The Rock's promo?
It's good to see NXT, the black and chrome, go the way it's going right now. Especially, I hate CW. I'm glad. I mean, I don't watch CW anyway, so I just watch highlights on NXT, of course. But I'm glad the HBK is taking a different, another good direction, especially having Obafemi as the new NXT World Champion. I believe he's going to do big things with that title, and I'm so proud of Julia. I'm so proud of her becoming NXT Women's Champion. From the history that you and Kevin always give me about her in Stardom, to the matches I have watched a little bit of my own watching of Julia's matches, I'm so proud of her. So proud of her, especially repping, well, RIP to Hana. I'm so glad she's NXT Women's Champion, and I'm so confident she's going to carry that division still long and strideful through as NXT Women's Champion, but to newer and deeper heights. Now, Rocky, you said, and I know you are online because you was mocking the crowd up there saying, why you boo Cody? Why you don't boo Cody? Why you Cody? Don't boo Cody. He tried to finish his story. But then now you said that you are steps ahead and to enjoy this ride that I'm about to take you on, said Dwayne.
Yeah.
So what you said on Monday, that was not you? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You was being babyface Rock again to turn around 24 hours later to say the final boss is always steps ahead? Something tells me he's got some tricks up his sleeve once again. We just don't exactly. It all points to this. And he acknowledged Roman once again by giving him the Uafala, and they doing that little bloodline little, shake or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me it can either go two ways. One, he's baiting Cody, or two, he's baiting Roman, or three, he's baiting them both, and we just don't know it. But when he said the final boss is always steps ahead, enjoy the ride that I'm about to take you on, this is the same stuff he said last year. Enjoy the ride that I'm going to take you on. And look what we got with WrestleMania 40. Cody finished the story, but his beginning with Rock was starting to come into fruition. Because remember what he said last year, the Raw after WrestleMania, don't fail me again. Something tells me we're going to go revolve right back to that. But it made Monday a little bit confusing because that wasn't Final Boss Dwayne. That was corporate Dwayne.
Exactly.
And turn around 24 hours later, we had Final Boss Rock. Yeah, he's definitely got some tricks up his sleeve. It's just the matter of who's going to get it, when it's going to happen, where at.
Well, I mean, King, let's think about this real quick. By the way, again, shout out to Arula, but let's be honest here. It's a foregone conclusion. Obafemi was going to win the championship. There's a reason why they made it a triple threat. I'm just saying. Again, anyway, I'll be honest here. I've been thinking about this a lot, especially with the World Rumble on the corner, which of course we'll probably briefly talk about prior during like maybe a brief like impromptu prior to it. Who knows? I might, we might level this up slightly to give like a premonition for WWE Big Four because the Big Four is what matters the most. Everything else is meh. It's one of those things. I look at the Royal Rumble and there's a lot of intrigue here. I mean, The Rock, he's been talked about being a winner. John Cena now putting his name in the hat. He's been talked about a winner. But that also leads to the fact that CM Punk is also still owed a favor. But Roman Reigns going into that locker room with W2K25 banner on the door, foreshadowing, just saying. There is some more foreshadowing, I think, where he also could be the winner. You know who's not going to be the winner? The two-time consecutive Royal Rumble winner, because he's going to be defending the WWE Disputed Championship against Kevin Owens, title for title, up there with the ladder in a ladder match, and I think we both know how that's going to go. But yeah, I go back to what I saw at Bad Blood. You said yourself, corporate endorsement. Let's not forget. He's on the board, by the way, folks, of TKO. He is legitimately the final boss, a period. Endorsing the Netflix representatives, hugging Cody Rhodes, and then hugging Roman back to back, 1, 2. Now, where does come into play? And again, to the NXT universe, they may not watch the main roster. Why NXT now is WWE with what it does, not just NXT blank. It's one of those things where I do think there is foreshadowing in trying to trick or bring in two different audiences on two different nights on two different stations. Netflix Raw right now is the biggest showcase that WWE has, period, on a weekly basis. It's the biggest outreach. It reaches globally, all right? Rock and John Cena took us on a World Geography Tour. CW, for those that still came on satellite, good on you. Everyone else, it is what it is. We're fucked, unless you do VPN. It's one of those things right now that I think The Rock is literally playing with us on his own road to WrestleMania, because I just can't see The Rock not being part of WrestleMania this year. I can't. Not after what happened last year and what happened the night before, where we still don't know, well, we may have an idea, what's in Cody Rhodes' pocket after the hand was clinched after The Rock asked him to hold it out. Remember, The Rock gave Cody Rhodes something the day after WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw. And we have yet to see it. Despite Kevin Owens' attack on Cody Rhodes' neck, he has not retired his pants or his suit. And I really think with this chapter when Kevin Owens is over, we're finally going to find out what's in the American Nightmare's pocket. I really do. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Well, with that being said, that pretty much encompasses every show we've done up to this point. Of course, we are coming off Dynamite. Again, it really did feel like a new beginning. Statlander, of course, go follow her close-up, folks, because I'll say it until the cows go home. Respect Stat, because Stat's where it's at. God damn it. Lord forgive me. We also saw a ridiculous Casino Gauntlet match once again, where of all people, Powerhouse Haas will go round 2 with John Mox for the AEW World Championship next week at Maximum Carnage. And a ringing endorsement and elevated action, maybe setting up Buddy Mavericks for a bigger year, or the House of Black in general, particularly the two men that you think should be champions. Buddy Mavericks, a great match against Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay winning, of course, with the hidden blade, but again, giving Buddy Mavericks the ring and the respect, as he should, damn it. Private Party right now have been targeted by the Hurt Syndicate for their AEW World Tag Team Championships. We know, again, Powerhouse Hobbs was able to survive the Casino Gauntlet. A lot of throwbacks, though, between ROH and freaking Forbidden Door 1 and freaking AEW here during out that whole soiree. Everyone from Lance Archer to Double J, Jeff Jarrett, fitted up with a Yuta, freaking kid. Ricochet, of course, put out of the building after the swerve with first entrance, and not gonna lie, that was clever, as the crowd went
Very
mild and booed the man out of the building. But then Heyman and Page and Jay White at one point, a coincidental Heyman and Page and Jay White 1 and 2. Yeah, right. Come on now. Of course, not really attacking each other later on, though. It was Powerhouse Hobbs that had the moment and found the moment, though. And of course, we now know that Copeland has targeted John Moxley, saying, I've gone through everything. What can you do to me? Well, the Death Rider stuff, the numbers game, and it looked like the problem was going face to face. Problem versus freaking, I don't know, a Glamazon down the line. Just saying. Just putting it out there. Again, the problem being the solution that allowed Cope to not get his hands on John Moxley, but thanks to FTR and Powerhouse Hobbs, finish Death Riders for now. We also learned that the Glamour will be taking on the wrath of Harley Cameron this Saturday Collision. Aqua grabs one-on-one, where she looks to rip her head off as the Puppet Master will make the puppets dance next week to be in the ring with her, and she will cut their strings and send them back from where they came from. And she is the woman from hell, denying all the dreams, for she is the reality. All hail the glamour. For AEW is all about Mariah. As of course, the winner of next week's Casino Gauntlet match for the women for the first time ever will challenge the glamour, Mariah May, at Grand Slam down under in Australia for the AEW Women's World Championship. And the number one seed was determined tonight in a very unique, quite domino effect, double down offensive match between Toni Storm, not Timeless, Rockstar Toni Storm, the rookie that recently signed by AEW. Go on with it, folks. With a Nightingale and Chris Statler looking to prove why Stats to where it's at. I still believe that with all my heart, of course. And she was able to win the number one spot, pinning Toni Storm with Wednesday Night Fever. I was quite surprised by that in a very tremendous women's match. Great time. And then, of course, the most important takeaway of the night, where we talk about the new year ushering in so many new beginnings. There is a new lease on life when it comes to the cleaner, Kenny, by God, Omega. But it looks like he might have to return back against some former adversaries. And whether or not it means coexisting with a former enemy or a respectable equal of proportions, maybe. That remains to be seen. Kenny, before we close this out, your takeaways from AEW Dynamite that we just recently got done watching, and Kenny Omega's return, and what you think is next for the cleaner this year with this new lease on life.
The Hurt Syndicate going after the AEW World Tag Team Championships, like you said before we started the Impromptu. I feel like you said that MVP doesn't feel like he's going to put all his eggs in one basket, and I do agree, because it's like, in my mind, I was thinking it was going to be Shelton going after one of the mid-card championships, whether that be the TNT Championship or the International Championship, but also with Bobby holding the AEW World Championship. But no, it seems like they're going to go with the tag team route with Private Party, which kind of threw me off a loop. But when you explained it like that, it makes sense. And Kenny Omega being back in AEW, I still always have that backdrop in the back of my head. Omega Okada 5 is a possibility at All in Texas. But it's like, before we get there, Don Callis still ain't done with him yet. And that led to Will Ospreay saving him. For now, like you said, is Kenny and Will going to have to coexist in order to get rid of that common thorn in both of their sides, that is Don Callis and the family? Because, of course, Kyle Fletcher said, you just had to stick your nose in our business, didn't you, once again, didn't you? And that would set it off right there with Fletcher and Ospreay once more. So something tells me Don Callis Kenny Omega was probably done with Don Callis, but Don Callis ain't done with him. But it's like but with the road to All In, I mean, I know we're still a few months away,
Yeah, right.
and I know Omega and Okada 5 is a possibility, and I still believe it will happen at All In Texas, which I will be there live, of course, July, Saturday. Yeah, he's going to have to get through Don Callis first before we can have a very clear road of what Kenny Omega's future in 2025 is looking like in AEW. But Don Callis right now is that roadblock.
Yeah, and again, we saw Kenny Omega bum rush Don Callis. Boy, how long was he waiting to do that, though? Man, he got that guy good for what he could. And then the entire family, like you said, came out. But also, again, Don Callis has betrayed both Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. The enemy of my enemy is a mutual person, business partner in AEW. Just saying, of course, both these men are looking to change the world, elevate this company and the action. Again, Kenny Omega right now, literally at one point doubting, can he still do this? Without this, what is he? And of course, it looks like now he is sporting that new music, a rebirth of the cleaner, I would say, making a Final Fantasy reference, return, revival, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure there's a deeper purpose to that music, but again, it all comes down to music interpretation, unless Kenny Omega said otherwise. Again, it's the writers of Final Fantasy that made this for the man, by God. I'm just saying. He needs to show up on YouTube sooner rather than later. Just saying. Especially the lyrics, so I can really get a grip of it. But yeah, it's just one of those things where he takes, but he gives, and he wants to take back what has been so taken from him his entire life. He said that verbatim, like you said, in his backstage comments back at Wrestle Dynasty, why he literally sacrificed his own life and limb out there for 44 goddamn minutes. But yeah, I'm very curious. And to your point, we know we're talking about Grand Slam, but we also know we got Revolution. Revolution, the first official pay-per-view segment. Of course, there's Dynasty, there's Double or Nothing, there's the Forbidden Door, and then there's All In. That's in July, not August, which makes me wonder what August is going to be. Are they going to return that back to AEW All Out, or are we actually going to get a free match without pay-per-view? Just saying, wouldn't that be some crazy shit? But anyway, who knows what AEW is doing in this new era where, again, we already got the mother of all simulcasts. Of course, we had the first cast of TNT Collision Saturday. On next, of course, Derek Garcia is still TNT champion. Private Party still tag team champions for now. And of course, the learning tree got cut down by Rated FTR, thankfully. And Tony Storm beat down Perazzle. Damn it. That's how the Vidal is going to try and target her next week. But right now, we know we got the rap of Harley Cameron versus Mariah May. Harley, you're beautiful, you're brilliant, but you're a dead woman. We also got Dax Harbour versus Chris Jericho, and we got Cope, stupid name, taking on Big Bill, even a stupider name. And then, of course, we know next week, Maximum Collision, especially Dynamite, right here from my home turf of Ohio, John Moxley's hometown, Cincinnati. He'll be defending the World Championship against Powerhouse Hobbs. We're going to get our first ever women's Casino Gauntlet match, when we know Chris Statlander will be number one. We know nothing else, no other official participants. And we also know we got Hook versus Christian Cage for the first time, and I'm sure more will follow. We also, of course, learned tonight that Double J has officially signed for one more year, and he's not looking to do it the cheap way or with the devil's aid in MJF, who is looking to use that mountain to climb back to the mountain that he once had in the Triple B, as Double J left him speechless, putting a young kid in his place. Redeem these slap nuts. As someone tell me, we're going to get Double J, Jeff Jarrett versus MJF sooner rather than later. That'd be a very unique match, I would think. And I think overall that pretty much sums up everything at this point. But yeah, I think for me, Kenny Omega right now and the fact, oh yeah, that's right. Kenny Omega returns to the action 1-1 against the Machine, Brian Cage. I can't see it live. And again, I'm just really looking forward to seeing who better than the Machine. Kenny by God Omega. Sorry, not sorry. So I'm looking very forward to seeing that.
Wait, I just realized something. This was what Brian Cage wanted years ago when he first got the AEW. I just remembered that.
Well, he's getting it. Be careful what you wish for. I'm just saying. And to your point, no Kazuchika Okada at all tonight. Beach. As Okada said last week, Kenny Omega, stay out of my business. But to your point, you know that the confrontation in ring, bell to bell, is looming. It is teased, and these two men will make us wait and let it cook. And it will be worth it when it's served. I guarantee you fucking that. Just don't go 63 minutes. Don't drive me up a wall. Don't make me lose my voice for one match in a single night. I'm just saying. Again, it's a new beginning. It's a new year, and the entire wrestling landscape is on fire right now, with the exception of TNA that really hasn't started their new beginning yet because that starts at Genesis. But I do know that we're going to get Jordan Grace versus Tessa Blanchard one-on-one at Genesis, Kings. And Team Morella made it official last week. You heard me right. And we also are going to get Moose defend the X-Division Championship against Ace Austin. And, of course, Nick Nemeth will defend the TNA World Championship against Joe Hendry, of course. So we will see what happens there. I believe. So we believe. So, again, we'll see what happens there. And I'm looking forward to that. What is wrong with you, man? Come on, it's a new year. You know that he might show up out of nowhere. He even said that he may show up out of nowhere. You need to get used to the fact that we need to start believing in the man that gives us 250 pounds of pure motivation that answers all life questions. And you know his name is Joe Hendry.
This name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I'm sorry, I had to do it, bro. Come on now. Joe Hendry. What are you going to do if Joe Hendry, who says he can show up anywhere at any time, if you just say his name on any show, what are you going to do if Joe Hendry shows up in the Royal Rumble?
Nothing. I'll just feel unmoved, unbothered, and just be like, man, what?
You wouldn't feel the motivation? You wouldn't feel the excitement? Bro.
What motivation? What excitement? The excitement that he steals other people's songs like he did with Creed, with that AJ Francis diss? Or is it
with that?
Justified with what?
Justifying the diss, banned from diving. And he did get fired twice before, all right? Come on now. Anyway, I'm not trying to put you on a rant. We're just starting the year, okay? Let's end on a positive note on what's been the most stable AEW view Impromptu. Thank Christ. So far this year, guys, gotcha. So again, thank you all for tuning in so far. 8 days so far this year. Professional wrestling landscape is on fire right now. Buckle up, King. This is going to be fucking interesting. We know, of course, we have Collision. We know, of course, TNA Genesis. We know we got the Royal Rumble. We got the new beginning outside. We got the Battle in the Valley this Saturday. We got Maximum Carnage next week for AEW Dynamite. Just so much utter insanity. Saturday night's main event returns, of course. So much craziness coming up across the entire wrestling business, all things wrestling. And I am here for it all, for the ride, the entire time. But for now, I think we will say very shortly here, goodbye. King, always a pleasure. A hell of a way to start off the new year with you. Any last thoughts and anything you want to bring up before we bid everybody a fine adieu?
Always a pleasure to do this with you, brother, as always. 8 days into the year, we all start off with a fresh start with this AEW View Impromptu. Stable, like you said. Very interesting. Follow me on Twitter.
I know Eric and JJ and James are going to make me pay for it, but for now, a sick of you. Beach. Go ahead.
But anyways, y'all follow me on Twitter. Same username as usual, AMT, Roman number 23, number 23. Follow me on Blue Sky. Same way, but at B Sky, so they got to get that fixed to where I can just have my own username handle because I don't like paying the B Sky social. But that's neither here nor there.
It's different.
It's different. And also follow me on Instagram, the same one, but the dot after the Roman numeral and then the 23.
There you go. And again, folks, why I barely have no voice, they tried to kill me across 7 days, and they nearly succeeded. But somehow I'm still speaking, and I will be continuing to speak going forward here in Super Studios because I am a madman, not as mad as Gabe Kid, because I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan. Once again, if you haven't figured it out, a lifelong fan of something, and that something is, of course, 2 hours later. Oh yeah. professional wrestling. Damn it! As only wish to remind you and encourage you on the winners, the losers, no bears, just fans of opinions, it's passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support when I respect your protection mentality too. Treasure your fans and judge love and professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. But with that being said, follow me if you choose, because again, all 5 leagues, again, King, you're going to run it back because I'm crazy. All 5 leagues, AEW, TNA, ROH, WWE, and NXT, they're coming back this year. So please stay tuned for the return of City Predicting. And follow me if you choose for all that and more, primarily. And I'm Fox 916 for all things wrestling on YouTube and on the Twix, as I always like to say. I just want to give it to you. And shout out to the entire W family across the social media platforms. I already called you all out, so I'm not going to do it again because we're here all night. Again, next time you'll see me virtually on screen will be this Saturday. The Super Hour Studios will be coming down the valley, and the Red Aggressive Jaded Williams for the first time in a long time, I think since the inception, will be hosting the anniversary, I believe, of the Saturday Shenanigans Rechristened from Open Mic Night, which means he's going to have me do something incredibly stupid the following weekend when it's something karaoke. God damn it.
You'll be fine,
like
bro.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
I'm sure I will be just freaking fine. But anyway, stay tuned for more on that. Continue following us along with all of our watch-alongs, all our content. Stay tuned. Some of our studios also very soon will be leveling up with gaming content. Whether or not it's a gaming podcast where we talk about latest in games, review games, where we might just buy in games. We will be doing game watch-along and let's plays, and even encouraging you and inviting you to the party. Maybe a Jackbox party game. Who knows? I have all 10 party packs and the Jackbox survey scramble. So we'll see. I don't think we're going to do the After Dark one because I don't think people have enough sense to actually mature. Sober or not, just saying. But that's all later. That's all formality. That's all to be really coming down the line too. But for now, it has been long. It has been fun. It has been a wild first 8 days of this new year. What a hell of a start. But I am very tired, so I am going to bid you all now a very simple, kind, and fine adieu. Until next time here for the family, we are ATW, and as always, I like to leave you, make a positive path in life, and have a good night. So with that being said, in true Kenny Omega fashion, goodbye, and good freaking night. Bang. This has been the interview Impromptu, a simple rundown of the year so far. We are just getting started. We'll be back very soon as well, too. Have a good night, folks, and thanks for tuning in to the interview Impromptu. We are ATW.
Have a good night, folks.
Pleasure, bruv. Damn right.
Always,
a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Oh, good Lord Almighty. I'm crazy.